Well, hi everybody. It's an absolutely gorgeous day, so I haven't got anything planned, but I've just headed out for a nice little ride around the countryside, and it seems like ages since I've been out because I've obviously been doing a lot of work on the bike. If you watch my shorts, you'll know all about that. If you're not interested in scooter maintenance, then don't worry, just stick with these. So I'm now on the back roads behind Bognor, between Bognor and Oving, and literally just come out for a ride in the sun. And look at it, it's gorgeous. I think ideally this is what scooters are good at. Look at this. You can see everything. When stuff's growing in the field, you can smell everything. Lovely. So like I say, no plan for today, just a general ride around, taking some of the sights. So just come along and enjoy. I'll just mention a few things about why I've been off the road a little while. If you haven't watched the shorts, I decided to take my front hub off and put on a hub I refurbished earlier. So that had new bearings and also new bearings and seals, all that kind of thing. And there's also another little bit that goes with that, like a pivot. I had a spare one of those, which I also cleaned up, put new bearings in that, re-greased everything, and I had a new Speedo worm gear which also went in at the same time, so everything re-greased, new Speedo worm gear. I was hoping my Speedo would be better. I'm not sure it is. If you look at it now, it's still bouncing around a bit. It doesn't seem to be quite as violent, but still, I guess that's just the way it is, right? When I took the old hub off, at first glance I thought it wasn't too bad, but actually yesterday I took another look at the bits that came off, and the bearings in the pivot arm seem to be almost rock solid, and all the grease was like plastic. And the bearings in the actual hub itself weren't terrible, but there's a roller bearing which was really quite loose and dry. So on the whole, I'm pleased that I did that. It was worthwhile exercise. So they're on there now. Also, I've been spraying some of the spare parts I had, like body panels. I've got a load of those on there now, and I've also resprayed the back panels, which have been lacquered, but I'm just waiting for the lacquer to harden off before I polish them in, and then I can put some new Vespa badges on the back. I've got the right ones, so I think that'll make it look quite smart. So that's what's taken me off the road for about 2 weeks. It's also helped me discover shorts, because I wanted to do something, so I created some shorts with that, just shorts about that kind of work I was doing, which was fun, and I'll be doing more of those now. Right, that's Oving to the left there, but we're going to go this way. And like I said earlier, this really is, look at this weather, it's perfect, lovely scootering weather. So I've got a few other things coming up now as well. I managed to buy a pair of rear shocks with about 20 miles on, according to the owner. They do look brand new. They're from a GTS, but I've got them at home. Now, my shocks aren't leaking or anything, but they have done 27,000 kilometres. So for £35 a pair, I'm just going to swap them out. Because that can't be a bad thing. And I have a new front brake caliper coming. Again, the brake pads were nearly as much as buying a brand new caliper, so I've bought a brand new caliper because the one on the front of this is a bit grotty, a little bit rusty, and although it still works, you know, why not? So that should be on its way. But the main thing is I'm back on the road now, so I can get out and about. Like I say, this is an unplanned trip where we're just going to ride around a little bit. Although I've just had an idea, I might head towards Amberley, which is quite pretty. And we might be able to have a little ride up the hill. Let's see how we get on. Quite quiet out at the moment. It's a bank holiday Sunday. Just been over to Portsmouth this morning. That was actually quite busy, so this is quite nice. And this is really what I was hoping to do with these videos. What brought it on was I was watching some videos online about scooter repair, and it somehow took me onto some videos of people riding their scooters in foreign countries, and it was quite interesting to watch, like America, Iceland, someone. And there weren't that many videos of people riding scooters around England. So I thought, well, you know, it might be interesting for someone abroad to see what it's like out here, especially in the countryside and some of the historic places that we've got. So I thought, well, you know what, I'll just do that because I'm going to go and ride to these places anyway, just because I enjoy doing it. So it's no hardship throwing a camera on board. I used to be quite interested in video and video editing as well, so these new little cameras are quite interesting to me. The editing process is all new software and so much easier to do now. You can edit 4K on a computer like no problem at all. But when I first got into video editing, I worked for a company where we built video editing computers purely because they were so expensive and the hardware was so specialised and heavy duty. So right now you can do 4K on your average laptop. It's fantastic. And also the price of the cameras as well. So I'm running this, I've got two little 4K cameras here, DJI Osmo Action 4s. Both of them cost under £200 each. I've got the DJI mics, which are wireless. I think they were 40 something pounds each. They give fantastic audio quality, although I'm still mucking about with them. But I think I've got the helmet one set up okay now. But the other one for the camera that you can see there on my handlebars, that mic is in my pocket because I was experimenting with mixing in some of the sound from the exhaust with the normal, you know, the me speaking. Not sure about that yet. But also when I get off the bike and want to start filming, previously my helmet mic is set quite low because obviously it's picking up my speech from inside the helmet, which is quite loud. But when you take that off the bike and put the mic, clip it to your shirt, it's not loud enough. And I don't really want to be adjusting the volume levels all the time, because it took a bit of time to get the volume level about right for inside the helmet. So I ended up buying a second microphone, which is set to a different volume level on the handlebar camera. So here we go. I do believe this might actually be the first time I'm on an A-road on my scooter. Or this kind of A-road anyway. Other than a very short stretch where I go to work. Do I want to go this way? Yeah, why not? So I think what we'll do is we go left when we hit Arundel, which will take us up the side of Arundel and up the hill. Now at the top of the hill there's a roundabout where we can turn off to Amberley, which will take us back down Amberley Hill, which will be, I think, quite pretty. And we can go through the village of Amberley and then turn around and come back again. I'm hoping that will be quite interesting to see. Hopefully not quite as windy going up there because there's more trees. Here we go. Amberley, of course, is a very interesting working museum. Steam engines, narrow gauge railways. Lots of old traditional crafts still being practiced there. Pipe making there used to be. Good day out. There we go, look at this. South Downs. That's more like it, isn't it? Look at this, beautiful. Some lovely little West Sussex villages now. Popular with walkers. There's the working museum is behind these gates here. Obviously we won't be able to see any of that. But, now, let's have a look. Now we're heading straight towards Amberley itself. And I'm going to see if we can see something from the village, because over there is Amberley Castle. I wonder if we can get behind Amberley Castle from the village itself. So let's go left here. So this is Amberley village. Let's have a look down here. These buildings, fantastic. Ah. Back of the castle. Look at all this blossom. Shame about the building work, but there you go. Right. So I think we'll head through the village and then come out the other side and then head back again. Some hollyhocks. Right, this could be exciting. Could be a minute getting out of here, I think. Is this the one? Right, it's going to be a bit windy here, heading back in the direction we came from. Anyway, so there we go. A little impromptu ride out to Amberley. I'm going to probably turn it off very soon because we're going to just see more of what we saw earlier. I'll ride to the top of the hill before I turn it off, just because it's quite pretty. But for now, see you next time. Here we go up the hill.